I actually find it impossible to hear the name Happy Days without singing the theme tune. And I have to say, the theme tune for Happy Days, you know, the Sunday, Monday, Happy Days, I love it. It's absolutely brilliant. So I was really kind of excited to watch the first episode of Happy Days, as I'd never seen it, and I've been really desperate to find a new comedy or sitcom, because after I binge watched Cheers and Frasier, I moved on to Wings, and very few have kind of filled the gap after that. I was really hopeful about Happy Days. It's a very popular show. I didn't really know what it was about. Apart from the Fonz, I didn't really have any knowledge about it, which is weird because usually I know at least a little bit. But other than it being popular and the theme tune, that's the extent of my knowledge. I watched the first episode and first of all, I didn't know the cast were so young. And obviously there's nothing wrong with having a young cast, but for me I prefer sitcoms where the majority of the cast is adult. I just find that it lends itself to more interesting narratives. The characters, for me, being 30, are a lot more relatable. But with this first episode, we learn very quickly that that is not the case. With regards to the Fonzarelli, he is, I believe he's maybe 18, 19, I'm not 100% sure, but he's definitely one of the oldest teenage characters. Most of this is actually told through the perspective of Richie Cunningham, played by Ron Howard, who is a teenage boy who has a date with a girl called Mary Lou, and he is potentially thinking about getting off with her, but he doesn't really know what to do, and there are moments where he pretends in front of Fonzie that he knows what to do. There is one brilliant scene involving a radiator and Fonzie. It's just so slick the way this scene is executed. And to be honest, the actual episode itself is pretty great. A lot happens. A lot is packed into this. We meet a lot of different characters. The narrative has a really good structure to it. And interesting, we don't actually learn that much about Fonzie. I don't know if he is constantly kind of an enigma, or if this is kind of a teaser, and then we get to know more about him as the show goes on. But actually, I might not ever find out, because I didn't really enjoy it that much. I kind of liked parts of it, and I can appreciate it being well executed, but for me personally and what I was looking for, the fact that it was so focusing on teenagers just didn't work for me at all. It's not my kind of style. It also felt almost self-parodic. A lot of the lines, a lot of the dialogue, particularly for no reason, I don't know why, but particularly from Richie's parents, I found a lot of the dialogue was almost self-parodic. It felt like it was making fun of itself and, you know, looking at the 70s and almost making fun of the 70s attitude and the outlook of the 70s. But also, that's not really possible. You can't really parody yourself if you're aware of these flaws and things that were, you know, attitudes at the time were the attitudes, so they wouldn't really be parodying them. But it also feels like that. So I became very confused by the tone of the show. And there were some funny moments. Nothing laugh out loud. Nothing I thought were particularly hilarious. Ultimately, I kind of can see the appeal. I can see the appeal if you were maybe a teenager watching this. But for me, I didn't really get much out of it. There were a few good lines. Henry Winkler as Fonzie, I did think was very intriguing, very interesting. I would like to know more about that character. The fact that he was kind of enigmatic and, you know, we just get tidbits of information about him, I think worked quite well. It kind of made me want to watch another episode to see if he's in it more, but not so much that I think I'm actually going to do that. I also have to say the costuming is brilliant. I really loved Mary Lou. She's played by Kathy O'Dare. I think she is brilliant. I love her outfit. Very 70s, of course it is. Just complaining about people tugging at her sweater. I couldn't work out if when she was referring to the boys tugging at her sweater, I couldn't work out if she genuinely just thought they were tugging at her sweater, or if she knew they were trying to unhook her bra. It's impossible to work out whether they are saying these things innocently or if they are kind of parodying 70s sensibilities. I genuinely can't work it out. It was interesting enough. I'm glad to say I've finally seen it, but I am a little bit heartbroken that it's not for me, because I really wanted to like it, but it's absolutely not what I expected. Not a fault of the show, but unfortunately it's not one that I'm going to be continuing with, and I really thought that I would. I really, really thought that I would continue to watch it. Also, this has the best intro ever. The introduction is Rock Around the Clock, which is fabulous. I love that song. So it's a very lively, engaging intro, and it definitely captures your attention. A lot of credit to the episode where it's due, but I just can't work out what they're trying to do with the tone of this and the style of humour. Maybe at some point I'll give the second episode a go, but for now, I think I'm just going to let Happy Days rest.